my spooky friends, and welcome to yet another 31 Days of Halloween 2020 video. Meet Delaney. She is literally the best kind of crazy, and I need you guys to know that whatever facial expression you see her make throughout today's video, it is a direct result of watching the Braves game while I painted. I didn't want you to think that getting body painted was painful in any way, shape, or form, and the yelling may have confused you. Rest assured that she is just a die-hard fan who got super into the game. Today, Delaney is going to be a beautiful butterfly and also a sugar skull all together. Sarah requested that I do a neon sugar skull, and I thought this was a great way to do it. First, we are going to be basing her face and her neck out in a white cream paint, and then we are going to give her two big black eyes, which I think is the second or third time I've done this year on my channel, so I'm sensing a theme. Using a pom-pom brush, one that I usually use to stipple in my eyeshadows, I'm actually then going to be dipping into my orange paint, getting quite a bit of that product saturated here on the tip, and then we are going to create beautiful little dots, skipping like not even quite an inch around the outskirts of her eyes. And then using that same brush, we are going to fill in each of those holes with a yellow paint so that we have this really pretty like orangey yellow kind of gradient. Because I knew I wanted it to use monarch butterfly colors, we stuck to yellow, orange, and red for all of our detailing for the most part. I'm using a big old fluffy brush and mixing together a yellow as well as like a creamy white eyeshadow from the James Charles Morphe palette, and we are going to be using that to add just a little bit more like contrast, definition, vibrance here to the face. Instead of contouring like normal or just doing like traditional kind of skull makeup, I really wanted to throw in as many colors as humanly possible. So you'll see that I dragged that here into the cheek, up through the temple, and then across the forehead as well. When we were done with yellow, we followed up with an orange. We didn't take it as far in as the yellow went because we did want to create that nice like gradual fade, and then I followed up yet again just with like a brown, almost black. I think I actually tapped back and forth between brown and black just to hit the very center of that contour. Again, this was all about getting a beautiful gradient and a pretty fade. I also ran that color not only from the cheek, but down to the jaw and towards the chin as well. Then I used a thin paintbrush and a black water activated paint to outline each and every single one of our little, I guess I'm gonna call them like flower petals here around the eyes. You can't really see this step because my hand is in the way, so sorry. I'm not used to painting other people on camera, just myself, so I'm still getting adjusted to that. But I did fill in a little skull nose, as well as start with my favorite bit of texture or detailing. You guys know if you've been here before, we're using some dots. There was really no rhyme or reason to the dots. I simply just went ham. I definitely wanted to concentrate it a lot here towards the brow. And I know that traditionally sugar skulls have like swirls and things like that, but I thought dots was a great way of like putting my own style into it. And also because I knew that we would be turning the neck and décolleté into more of like butterfly wing looking things, I felt like dots was a great way to kind of like bring in that same texture onto the face as well. I did, of course, change up the sizing of my dots. I wanted some bigger, some medium, and then some teensy-weensy little dots here as well. And then for the mouth, we're actually keeping it fairly simple. We are going to be filling in her lips with a ruby red, and then I'm going to take that same little detail paintbrush from earlier and create two little ticks out from the corners of her mouth going up. I'm using these little tick lines to imitate teeth and making sure to go through the mouth as well, but I'm not disturbing that lipstick because I wanted to keep this portion like really pretty. Looks like this are fairly easy to do, and you can use whatever products it is that you have on hand. If you don't have paint, feel free to use just like a really pale foundation. That's pretty much going to be it for the face. I know, easy, right? So now we're moving on to the neck, chest, décolleté-ish area. So for this, I decided that I kind of wanted like overlapping butterfly wings, not like a particular shape. I really just wanted like an avant-garde or a more like abstract nod to exactly what this is. So you'll see that I am first starting by by sketching out the thick black lines to be like the outer edges of the wings, and then I'm going to be filling in the inner portion of this, mostly with a yellow and then following up with an orange paint. I really wanted this to have some like natural dimension to it before adding all of our details, and by not filling it in with just a singular paint, that's how we kind of like achieve this look.
2 outs!
I'm not laughing at you.
I know.
I'm just enjoying your presence. Ignore the smile. I am upset for you.
You're just enjoying this because you've never seen this side of me.
Literally never. Didn't know she yelled.
Oh, she yells.
At sports. She did yell quite a bit. But to be fair, I used to listen to my mom yell at football players all the time, so it was kind of funny to me. All right, now that we have the base done, we are going to be adding some butterfly wing texture. The best thing I can tell you to do if you're recreating this part is to look up a reference picture of an actual monarch butterfly, or whatever butterfly it is that you want to emulate. I love monarch butterflies because I love yellow in general. It's one of my favorite colors. But overall, I just love the curves and butterfly wings. Again, I wasn't trying to make this too terribly precise. I just wanted to kind of like do an avant-garde or more like abstract take, my abstract take on like butterfly wings in general. So you can see that I'm just kind of creating like curved lines, sometimes making like a blocky line and then curving it off later because they don't have super sharp lines here in their wings. Basically, you're playing paint Tetris. So you can kind of figure it out as you go. But again, having a reference image is the best way to kind of make sure that you are like on board with your overall like design and ideas. Overall, I was really pleased with the shapes that we created. It was fun, it was whimsical, and I really liked this paint. To add more texture and dimension to the inner portion of the wings after we've added the black, I'm going back to that same James Charles palette and a big old fluffy brush, and we are going to add our detailing or our shading in that way. I used mostly orange because that orangey yellow base was still there and that had some natural dimension, but I made sure to add a little bit of extra depth here into all of the places that were naturally curving. So around like where her collarbone is, and there's like a little bit of rise and fall naturally into the body, as well as like whenever the paint dipped here into the chest, and then just inside some of those like bigger winged portions, simply because I thought it looked a little bit more cohesive. And now we are going back to those dots. Again, I'm going to vary the size and shape of all of my dots, concentrating the most towards like the very outskirts of that black, but not being afraid to drag some of those smaller dots like up and in for the added texture. And you can see it when I zoom out later how beautifully it tied in to the face. Last but not least, glitter. So much glitter. I would understand not wanting to be covered in glitter simply because it gets freaking everywhere and you can never get rid of it, but Delaney was so down, and by so down I mean she requested the glitter. So here we go. With a big old fluffy brush, we picked up so much gold glitter that I am certain it will pepper everything in my apartment somehow. I'm pretty sure I did a good job controlling where the glitter was, but I know for a fact I'll find it somewhere I least expect it on the opposite side of this apartment one day. We stippled that glitter all over the chest, a little bit into the cheeks on the cheekbones. I also picked up one of the Morphe liquid black eyeshadows, the one that has reflect in it. Kind of reminds me of Stila glitters, and I popped that into her big old panda bear eyes as well. All right, my spooky friends, and that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope that you guys enjoyed it and that you've been enjoying all of the Halloween content here on this channel this year. Delaney, thank you so much for joining me, love. I hope that you had fun getting painted, and I am very glad and somewhat relieved that your team won. I love you guys so much. Have a very fun, safe, somewhat spooky day, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye.